How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This is the next Planet of the Apes movie, this time directed by Wes Ball, and stars Owen Teague, Freya Allen, Kevin Durand, Peter Macon, and William H. Macy. And this movie takes place 300 years after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes, and is about a young ape by the name of Noah, whose ape clan gets kidnapped by the self-proclaimed ape cape King Proximus Caesar and his army of apes. And so Noah goes on this journey where he meets a human by the name of May, who is a lot more intelligent than the other humans. So I got to see this movie, believe it or not, on the Disney cruise The Wish when I was away. For those of you who don't remember, I think I said in my last video that I was going away, so I wasn't going to do any videos last weekend, and I was on the Disney cruise The Wish, and they were showing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes for free on the ship. So I got to see it in a decent sized theater with some other people. And when it comes to Planet of the Apes movies, I've already reviewed Rise, Dawn, and War. I haven't reviewed the originals yet, nor have I reviewed the Tim Burton remake. But the recent ones that started in 2011, I love. They're some of my favorite movies of the last 15 years. Dawn is my favorite Planet of the Apes movie of all time. Matt Reeves took it in a much better direction. And when this movie was announced, I was excited, but also a bit nervous because we've seen this before where they continue a series after you think it ends and you're worried about what's going to happen, especially when a new director takes over. And while I do like Wes Ball, going from Matt Reeves to Wes Ball is a bit of a drop because Matt Reeves is one of the best directors out there, in my opinion. And Wes Ball, I think he's a fine director, but he's not my favorite director. And this movie was announced, I think it was the fall of 2022. So you kind of worry, was this movie rushed or whatever? But this was also one of the few movies that got done right on time before the writers and actor strikes happened. So this was a movie that they seemed like they were pretty much on top of in regards to getting it done, getting a story out, and putting in the work. And the final product is great. This is another great Planet of the Apes movie in this run of Planet of the Apes movies that began since 2011. Now, it's not my favorite of the Planet of the Apes movies, and I still think Rise, Dawn, and War are better movies. But King of the Planet of the Apes manages to keep this franchise afloat and keep telling interesting, great stories with very good characters and still have excellent motion capture acting. Owen Teague as Noah, I know people are going to compare him to Caesar, and Caesar's just on a different level in regards to not just characters in this movie, but characters in any movie. He was just on another level. Andy Serkis in his motion capture portrayal and the story arc of Caesar is just on another level. So I think it might be unfair to compare Caesar to Noah because Noah is a different kind of protagonist. He's part of this clan of apes that bonds with falcons, and he's trying to prove himself. But when his family gets when he and his clan gets kidnapped by these other apes, he goes on a quest to find them. And Owen Teague does a fairly good job in portraying this character and the development that he goes through in this movie. He has a group of friends that he looks out for and works pretty well with as well. You also have the character Raka, played by Peter Macon, who basically is part of this group of apes, or is one of the last members of this group of apes that keep Caesar's principles and teachings alive 300 years later. And the thing that's very interesting about this movie is that even though Caesar is no longer the main character, his legacy, principles, and teachings are still a theme in this movie and how they're interpreted. Caesar, at this point in the franchise, is seen similar to a public figure or religious figure that people worship. And similar to many religious figures, figures that stand out in history, their legacy can be altered as well. Their teachings can be altered. So you got, some apes like Raka who believes in what Caesar believes and understands his beliefs. But then you got others like the villain Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durand, who has altered those beliefs. And those altered beliefs can be due to being mistaught by other apes. Although there's this human character played by William H. Macy that teaches Proximus Caesar about the Roman Empire. So maybe he gets the Caesars mixed up because you got Julius Caesar and then you got Caesar the ape. So maybe he got them mixed up. But also for your own selfish gains, because Proximus Caesar has his own selfish gains and motivations. He wants to go into this vault, this area that has human technology that he wants to use for his benefit, no matter the cost. So the way Proximus is captured, and Kevin Durand does a very good job portraying him as well. But his motivations and how he is the perfect example of someone who has an altered vision of someone else's teachings for both his selfish reasons and being mistaught those beliefs. Now, Freya Allen plays this human character named Mai, who is a lot more intelligent than the other humans. She knows a lot of stuff, and Proximus Caesar wants her for his own selfish reasons. She has her own agendas that can conflict with Noah's goals and trying to get back his clan from Proximus Caesar. I will say that she's a good human character. She's not a standout human character. She does come across as a bit more interesting than James Franco and Jason Clarke's characters from Rise and Dawn, though. But again, we go into these movies to see the ape characters, and the ape characters were handled very well. As I said before, William H. Macy plays a human character that's teaching Proximus Caesar about human history. Not really that much of an interesting character, but he's not meant to be an interesting character. The setting and visuals were captured incredibly well. You got this I'm going to say, post-apocalyptic vibe where you see abandoned buildings, you see abandoned books, abandoned ships. It looks really good, and the visuals look great as well. How the ape characters look, this franchise has done a great job of making these apes look incredible, and once again, they still do a very good job. The score, while it's not as great as the score that Michael Giacchino did for Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes, it's still a very good score. The adventure that Noah goes on, it's very interesting. As I said, the settings look incredible. There's nods to not just the recent Planet of the Apes movies, but also the 1968 movie. As we see in the trailers, we see how apes round up the humans. It's pretty similar to the 1968 movie. It's a really nice bridge movie. I mean, I don't think this is a prequel to the 1968 movie. I think they're going to do their own thing, but there's great nods to the 1968 movie, great tie-ins. So I like how they handled that. And also the way they reference back to the original trilogy, they do in a way where, yeah, it would be nice to rewatch or to watch for the first time the other Planet of the Apes movies that established Caesar's character. But also, if you're new to the series, if you haven't seen the movies, it's still handled in a way where you're not really all that lost. All you know is that there was a disease that caused the humans to go feral and mute and made the apes a lot more intelligent. So the way like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes establishes itself, it's where, yeah, it would be helpful to watch the previous three movies, but if this is your start, you're not really lost because there's new characters being introduced. While I love this movie and I think this movie was great, I do have a few concerns with this movie. While I thought Proximus Caesar was a very good villain, although he's nowhere near as good as Koba, his screen time I thought was quite minimal. And what I mean is he was heavily marketed in the trailers and we don't really see a whole lot of him. It takes a while for us to finally see him. For the majority of the movie, we basically see his ape followers, his ape army, having encounters with Noah and his clan, and when Noah meets May and Raka. So we don't really see Proxima Caesar for quite a while. I wish we could have explored more about him and how he interpreted these beliefs of Caesar's that are not really Caesar's beliefs. While I said there are nods to the 1968 movie, which is fine, but there's something in the third act that's way too similar, or I won't say way too similar, but quite similar to War for the Planet of the Apes. I don't want to spoil it. I know the movie's been out for over a week, but I know some people probably still haven't seen it yet. But in the third act, there's just some things in there that remind me a little bit too much of War for the Planet of the Apes, which was the last ape movie. And it's not like how Star Wars The Force Awakens referenced or took a lot from Star Wars A New Hope, but there are just some similarities that didn't make it bad, but kind of took out the originality that the movie was building up. And speaking of the third act, it felt a lot more slow paced. The first two acts were paced very well. The third act is where it slowed down, and it didn't slow down in a bad way, but there are just some moments where it probably could have gone more quick paced. But overall, when it comes to King of the Planet of the Apes, we established some new characters that, while they may not be as beloved or as interesting as Caesar and some of the characters from the recent trilogy, the build up works, the new characters work. The villain, while I wish we could have seen more of the villain works pretty well. The setting works very well. The conflict of Caesar's teachings and principles that's presented in this movie works well. The action is so entertaining. The world building looks really good. And I know Wes Ball, I don't think he's going to be directing the next Planet of the Apes movie or any other Planet of the Apes movies, because I think he's going on to work with Sony on Legend of Zelda movies. But Wes Ball showed that he has a lot of potential to make a good Legend of Zelda movie, although it's also being produced by Avia Red, so who knows? But I'm glad that the Planet of the Apes franchise is still being handled with care. And I heard they have this goal of making not nine more movies, but up to nine movies. This is the fourth of that nine movie franchise they want to do. I don't know if they will get to nine. We'll have to see, because I want this franchise to continue, but I also want this franchise to keep making great movies. And as far as rankings go with these Planet of the Apes movies, first I'm going to give my score for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm going to give Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes an A minus. I think this was a great start to a new direction in this Planet of the Apes series. As far as rankings go, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is number 1. War for the Planet of the Apes is number 2. Rise of the Planet of the Apes is number 3. Number 4 is the 1968 Planet of the Apes. I know I haven't reviewed it on this channel yet, but I hope to review it soon or at some point. And then King of the Planet of the Apes is number 5. So those are my rankings for the Planet of the Apes. Well, at least my top 5 Planet of the Apes movies. But yeah, overall, this is a great movie. And I can't wait to see what else they do with this franchise. I can't wait to see where our new characters like Noah, the directions that they go in, and what other new characters we're going to be introduced to. And because there's a lot of references, like I said, to the 1968 movie, I'm very curious if they're going to do something different from the 1968 movie in future movies. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do. I'm very excited for the future of this franchise. And what are your thoughts on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And what's your favorite Planet of the Apes movie? I think I've asked this question before on one of my previous Planet of the Apes review videos. But in case you didn't answer it, then what's your favorite Planet of the Apes movie? Let me know in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already if you haven't. Please share this with someone that likes the Planet of the Apes movies. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.